Okay, go ahead.
Can you do a quick pan? Alright, so America is becoming one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. And that's because everything we eat has sugar in it. Children today have said to have a lower life expectancy than their parents, and they could potentially live 10 years less than their parents, which is definitely a scary thing, but it all has to do with obesity and other diet-related illnesses. The three main causes of death in the United States are all diet-related illnesses. Heart disease, cancer, and stroke is all preventable. All has to do with how you diet. We basically allow the food industry in this country to tell us what to eat, and they govern themselves. They don't even have to, abide by any regulations for the most part. And what they sell us is basically killing us in the long run. We get sick and die from all these things, all these processed foods that we eat, and it's because we don't have organic food anymore, really. We don't go to farmers anymore, we don't have butchers. Everything we buy in the grocery store is highly processed, which is high in fat, sugar, and salt, and it's hurting our health as a country. And it's funny, I heard someone say that if we let another country do this to us, we would go to war over it, but we let it happen in our own country. It's just like the tobacco companies in the past. They are a company or an industry that is trying to survive off of killing people, basically. It's not as severe as the tobacco industry, but it's definitely causing the same kind of health problems. Smoking-related illnesses are actually costing us much less than health-related issues. Obesity contributes to 10% of Americans' health bills. That's $150 billion a year, and in 10 years that is going to double. So about 93% of Americans are affected by obesity. I'm not sure if that's right. I read that right. One of the problems is people are no longer learning how to cook. We don't know anything about food. Nobody teaches us anything about food, which kind of makes us dependent on the fast food industry and grocery stores selling highly processed foods, things that are easy to eat, and things that we like. This is basically a food crisis. In other words, we don't know what is food anymore, essentially. Fast food's taken over the world, it's taken over grocery stores, and we've basically shifted from having fresh produce and meat to having processed foods. Food labeling is also a huge issue. There's essentially no governance involved in food labeling. If you've ever asked yourself why sugar daily value percentages are not on food labels, it's because they're not on there for a reason. The food industry doesn't want to put that information out. The amount of sugar that you should ingest in a day is probably less than 7 grams. And if you look at anything from a can of soda to a slice of white bread, it's probably going to be a lot more than that. The food industry basically regulates itself. Nobody stops them from doing what they do. When they process food, they can tweak the ingredients to, say, label their products as low fat, when in reality they just add more salt and sugar, and thus making a worse product for you, even though in disguise they're trying to trick you. So looking healthy isn't necessarily the truth on most products. And again, like I said, the danger of processed food is that it's so easy to manipulate. A regular cup of yogurt, as opposed to a low-fat cup of yogurt, could be something as simple as the difference of 10 calories. It's just blatant false advertising, really. School lunches and the food that is offered at school is probably one of the worst things that's happening in this country. Because schools are looking for the cheapest option available, they tend to turn to the fast food industry. And believe it or not, they get away with it because things like pizza and French fries are considered vegetables. And when they testify in court, they actually bring that evidence to the table. And it's insane how they get away with that. We don't educate, our kids about food at all, and that definitely needs to change. Myself included, I grew up eating school lunches, burgers, fries. Don't really know how to cook that well, but I'm actually starting to learn. And that's basically what people need to start doing. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right.
Nope.
That's it. Thank you.